Absolutely can say about Snap is it is the most valuable IPO since Facebook in 2012, making a tough decision to list on the New York Stock Exchange, which makes our next guest a very happy man. Joining me now is the president of the exchange, Tom Farley, who is standing right next to the founders, ringing the opening bell. Congratulations to you. And I got to ask, because 2016 was a lousy year for tech IPOs. I think it was the worst year since the recession in 2009. Have we turned a corner now? Is this going to be the beginning of a lot more tech IPOs?
Happy indeed, David, and hello to you. Thanks for having me on. Hello, Melissa.
Thank you.
We have turned a corner, and you know, I'll give you a few statistics. Last year we had 0 IPOs in the first quarter.
Amazing.
And today was the 12th in the first quarter, and we're only 2/3 of the way through. So we're in good shape. And if you look at what we call the calendar, the number of IPOs that are planned over the next month or so, there's a lot. So it's really humming nicely now. We kind of have the trifecta of high asset prices, low volatility, low and stable interest rates. So it's a nice environment for companies to go public.
How much, you probably expected this one, but how much of this optimism that you have and the market rally is because of Trump? And is Trump going to sort of engender a more entrepreneurial spirit that will mean a lot more tech IPOs?
Look, the markets are optimistic, and I think you saw it with the Snap IPO. They put on the front of their prospectus they wanted to raise dough at 14 to 16 bucks a share, and they raised it at 17, and they opened at 24. That's kind of the optimism made manifest. If you go back to the night of the election, the optimism was to some extent about the hope for lower corporate income taxes, and I think the market really hasn't lost
remember
that
the
hope.
Night of the election, Tom, we had these prognosticators, these predictors saying, oh, the market's going to tank. Paul Krugman said it was never going to recover. It did exactly the opposite. And again, you're too young. Most people don't realize that you're a young man. You were just in your single digits when Ronald Reagan was elected. But I remember when he was elected, and there was this sort of renewed optimism from a limits to growth and mentality to renewed optimism. All of the tax cutting, all of the reductions in regulations led to the technological revolution, led to the computer revolution, led to cell phones, etc. I'm wondering if we're on the cusp of that again.
Yeah, and if you know, I was doing some math in my head today just thinking about that night of that election. If you guys remember, overnight, the futures were way down. I think
800 points down, yeah.
The Dow futures were near 17,000, and now here we are at 21,000. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. 22, 23%.
It is extraordinary.
So clearly we have kind of what you call the animal spirits, not dissimilar from the excitement when Ronald Reagan first came into the seat. And so let's see if we can keep it going.
Tom, this is the last question. You were very kind to stick around. We had the breaking news about Jeff Sessions, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to throw a nice one to you, but it's a serious question. NASDAQ is much more of a computer-oriented trading system than you guys are at New York Stock Exchange. You still use real people. They use more computers. And so a lot of tech companies went naturally to NASDAQ, but you got Snap. Why and how do you pull new IPOs away from NASDAQ?
Yeah, you mentioned NASDAQ. They're a tough competitor. I mean, we've really carved out a niche with our blend of humans and technology where all the large IPOs are coming to the New York Stock Exchange. This was number 28 in a row, maybe it was 27 in a row in terms of large IPOs raising $700 million or more. And those companies are coming here because those transactions are important and they're complex and they need to be done right. And because we have the humans here to make sure it's done right alongside sophisticated technology, this is the place to be.
Tom Farley, president of the New York Stock Exchange. Tom, again, thank you very much for sticking around for us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, David, and hi, Melissa.
Hey.